Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, and today I wanted to show you guys my venture down to Portland to the SideQuest Gaming Expo. Now I've been to the show before, but now it's changed its name from the Portland Swap Meet to the SideQuest Game Expo. Now I had a great time at this show, I gotta let you guys know, and I wasn't going there to look for anything really. I figured I would find a couple of things, but of course you know how it is, I find a bunch of stuff, and I just kind of want to show you guys what was at the show. Now, I'm always smart when I go to events like these because, you know, some games may be a fair price, some stuff may be overpriced, you know, but if it's really rare sometimes, you know, you might still want it. So what I do, I usually bring trade, usually just straight across or to lower the price to where I would want it at. Now, looking back, I've been going to these events probably for the last 13 years, and it's always been an amazing experience for me. You know, a lot of fun, hanging out with friends. Also, you guys, well, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Jason and Paul came down as well. John Hancock was there, and also John Riggs. And speaking of John Riggs, he was the first person I did a trade with for these mini arcades, which I'll show later in the video. Now, what I'm showing you guys here, I think it was around 2 hours before the event started. I was helping a friend set up, and I was allowed to film while we were setting up, so I got to walk around for a little bit, show you guys some stuff, because during the event it's really hectic to try to film because a lot of people are shopping, and you know it's just hard to capture good footage. So thank you, Josh, for letting me film during setup, because filming during the event is like just something I do not want to do. What's always cool about going to these events is that you always find something that you've never seen before. You know, I was tempted to pick up a lot of stuff, but I stayed calm for the most part. I think I got, I don't know, it's really, I don't know, all over the place for me, I would say, when it comes to these events. You know, sometimes I get really pumped up and just want to just buy everything. Sometimes I'm just very chill and like, I'll wait till next time. I don't really go to too many events like this anymore like I used to a few years ago. You know, I used to go to maybe 5-6 events a year. Now I just kind of calm down to just to going to 2. I consider this one a part of the PRGE one, so I'll just count this as one. And then I go to the Game On Expo as well. But I am going to an event in Texas pretty soon. I'll announce that a little bit later. But here's some more games here. These are some more commons that I saw. Jason is actually looking for a lot of Xbox games, which those games are always on the cheap, or just, I would say, fairly priced. If you're looking for DS games, oh man, good luck. I mean, you can find them, but you never know what price they're going to be. And then here's some PS4 stuff, you know, I took a look at. I have enough PS4 games, and luckily I have enough space on my PS4 for all of them. But you never know, there's always that one game you're like, oh, never seen this before. You might pick it up. This year, for the first time in a long time, the Expo opened up 2 rooms. You know, this room was inside of the hotel, the DoubleTree Hotel. Very chill in here. Like I said, this is before everything opened, so again, this footage is before the crowd got in there, because that's the easiest way to capture a lot of footage. Another thing I like about going to shows like this is that I get to see a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a while. So Portland is always the perfect place for that for me. I have a lot of friends in Portland. Now, since this event was a 2-day event, you know, I just pretty much took my time with looking around. You know, I didn't want to be in a hurry. You know, I just kind of was very chill and took my time to look through stuff, because the problem with me over the last few years, I used to be really good at this a long time ago, but sometimes I won't spot something that I would have spotted a long time ago. You know, my hunter's eye is a bit dim. You know, I don't see a lot of things like I used to, which is kind of funny. You know, maybe it's just because I'm just kind of satisfied with what I have, but you know, sometimes you're just not really looking. You know, I remember one time, this didn't happen at an event, but it happened after an event. You know, me and my buddy Casey were driving back home, and we stopped at a GameStop, and there was this game I was looking for called Data East Classics. This was when the game was super rare. I think it's still uncommon now, but we were looking through the Wii games. I looked through the Wii games first. I looked through them twice, and I didn't see it there. And then I got up right when I was walking away. Casey was looking at the games too, and he said, "Hey, did you see this game?" I said, "What? That was there the whole time?" He said, "Yeah, it was right here." And he needed it too, so he got it before me, which I was like, what the hell, how did I miss that? It was pretty crazy. But that was really funny, because that's when I noticed the hunting radar was pretty much off. So I try to be careful, take my time to look through stuff now, make sure, you know, I don't see something that I really want, or just something that, you know, brings a lot of interest to me. Now, another thing at this event, I noticed some prices were stupid high, and I'm not a reseller myself. I do sell occasionally, but man, sometimes it feels like some people just don't want to let stuff go. It's like, geez, man, this is what you're really charging for this? But that's where the trade comes in too. But sometimes that person might not want to trade. They have sealed copies of games and they're just trying to, downsize their collection, and they don't want to bring nothing back into it. And I totally understand that. But sometimes, man, you got to just have that price a little bit more fair to let that stuff go, if you really want to let it go. Now, before the event started, people were wrapped around the building. Here's some footage of everybody being let in. A lot of excited people out there. And, this is how it always is at this event. So it's very popular. It's been around over 10 years. And it's just the go-to place if you want to start collecting retro games or just collect a couple of games you want to add to your collection. Now, by the time the event started, obviously a lot of vendors were already set up and ready to go, and I got to see more items that you're seeing now. I almost picked up that shoot 'em up game, and it was going for a good price, but something about it, I already own it on a 360, so I felt like I didn't really care about playing it on the Switch. But anyways, NES games, very sparingly, I'll pick stuff like that up right now. I feel like my collection for that's pretty much plateaued. But anyways, guys, that concludes the footage I captured at the event. Now it's time to look at some game pickups, which I know you guys are excited for. So let's check it out. One of the first items I got at the show was the PacMan quarter arcades. I got these from my buddy John Riggs. We did a trade for them, and these were some of the last two I was looking for, actually. I never had got these ones, so I was happy to get these. Now, if you haven't heard of the quarter arcades, they're made by a company called Numbskull. And they're pretty much what you would call a tabletop arcade game. You could play them as their base self, and you could also hook them to a television, and you could hook controllers to them as well. Very cool. Happy to have these in the collection. I'm going to do an upcoming video on all the ones I have pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. But definitely something interesting for you guys to check out. Here's Pocket Fighter for the PlayStation 1. So I had a case and manual for this game, so all I needed was a disc, and I found a disc at this event. Now, if you haven't played this game, it's easily available, I would say. It's a part of the Capcom Fighting Collection that came out a few months ago. But it's pretty much a simplistic fighting game that if you're somebody's beginning to get into fighting games, you could recommend them a Pocket Fighter. But honestly, these days, there's other fighters to kind of recommend to them if they're starting to get into fighting games. But still, this is a solid entry. I think they did a good job. Even on the PS1, I think the sprites are well done, even though they're missing some animations. But the best version to get is probably going to be the newer version that came out on the Capcom Fighting Collection. Here's ScoobyDoo Unmasked for the Game Boy Advance. So I decided to pick this up after looking at the back of the cover. This was a 2D platform game. I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take the chance to pick it up. I think I got this one. I think it was around $5 or $10 complete. So I think I got a pretty good deal on it. Now, as a kid, I was never really a big fan of the Scooby-Doo series. I did like the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, but that series didn't last too long. I think it only lasted one season. But even though I was never really a big fan of the series, somebody could make a solid game for that series, and I think this is one of them. So if you guys have played this game, let me know what you think about it. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. This game was released on every console for the 7th generation, GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, but the Game Boy Advance one is always a bit different from the others. Chaos Break for the PlayStation system. This is a survival horror game that I talked about on my channel before. It was actually one of the first reviews I did on my channel. Fantastic game. Came out around the same time Resident Evil 3 came out in America. Now, I like to compare this game to old school survival horror games because if you're not careful, you could kind of put yourself in a bad position where you won't be able to continue the game. That being that if you don't save enough ammunition, for certain parts, you're going to be in trouble. So Got to be careful about conserving your ammo in this game, at least the first time you play through it. It's not a very long game. If you know what you're doing, you could probably beat the game in around 3-4 hours. But your first time playing it, it might take you around 5-6 hours just to get familiar with everything. But I like this game. You have melee attacks. You know, you could, if you run out of ammunition, you could do melee, and you could actually dodge enemies as well. But now, when you start the game, you get to play as 2 characters. Game to add They're to pretty much the same, I would say. The only difference between them is how they start their scenarios out. If you're a true survival horror buff like myself, you owe it to yourself to play this game. I picked up this extra copy for a friend at the convention. I was surprised to see it there, so they're going to be very happy once they receive this in the mail. Here is Distrust. I did a review on this game pretty much when I first started my channel, and this is a, I want to say, I guess I could call it a survival horror. I did in that video. It's pretty much you play as 2 characters in the beginning. You'll meet a 3rd character later, and you're trying to survive harsh conditions. Now, the harsh conditions are pretty much, you know, you're in a storm and your characters are hungry. But the crazy part of this game is that you're being hunted by something, and this thing actually takes over people, and you won't know who it takes over if you're not careful. So the game has that gimmick going for it, and I think it does it pretty well. If you're careful, you can see who's possessed, but if you're not watching people and watching their actions in this game, yeah, you'll get caught up and get killed. So definitely an interesting game. I'm not sure if it'll pull a lot of people into it, but it's definitely something interesting.
An emergency. We listen people one after the other. We need help.
It was already too late when they called us. The rescue team was ready for anything. But then, that bright light. Before I could open my eyes, we were the only ones left.
Here's Virtual Kasparov. I had no idea about this game, and I'm not going to say like this is going to be a game that's sought after or anything like that. It's probably just very uncommon, maybe. But I got this for $5. This is pretty much a chess game, and a pretty quiet, boring one at that. I guess I was hoping for something like Battle Chess. If you guys remember that game where the chess pieces like actually attack each other, that game was pretty entertaining. But yeah, this is just a basic chess game, so yeah. Here's Spider-Man 3 for the 360. So, I'm a real big fan of the Spider-Man 3 movie. I thought it was the best one out of the trilogy. I know most people will go with Part 2, but Part 3, I thought the attitude change was perfect, and I loved it. Now, the game was kind of funny at the time because I had got the PS2 version because I didn't have a PS3 or 360 at the time. And both of the games, those versions are actually very different from each other. But just going on to this one, though, I felt like the game had a lot going for it. I didn't really like the swinging mechanic in this one, like from Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 I felt like was better overall. But some of the stuff they added to the game, like the gang wars, I thought that was kind of lame because it didn't feel right. But one of my favorite side missions is a Mary Jane thrill ride, where you take Mary Jane to work, you know, to avoid traffic pretty much. Those levels are actually pretty fun. But the Mary Jane scare ride is freaking hilarious. And that's probably one of my favorite side missions in this game.
You've hardly said 3 words all night. Is everything all right?
I figured you were talking enough for both of us.
Peter, what's gotten into you lately?
Nothing that's stopping your gums from flapping wouldn't solve.
I think you should take me home. Now.
Mary Jane,
Now, Peter.
Let's get this over with. I need a girl who can keep up with me.
I'm getting a little dizzy.
What's wrong? Can't you handle this?
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Are you going to complain about every little thing?
This is too scary!
What's wrong? Can't you handle this?
Peter Parker, this isn't funny! This isn't funny, Peter! Stop it!
I need a girl who can keep up with me.
Here's some sealed Mega Man X action figures I got. These are from the 15th anniversary. And as soon as I saw these, I wasn't sure if I wanted them, but I couldn't let them stay there, so I had to pick them up. I thought these were too cool to pass up. Now, you guys know I'm a massive Mega Man X fan, so there's going to be one more figure I pick up for this, and that's going to be Vile. But really happy I found these at the show. Definitely glad they came home with me. While I was at the show, I traded my buddy Jesse for a Luminous Avenger 9 Collector's Edition on the Switch. This is very similar to what we just talked about, the Mega Man X series. Really fun games. I would highly recommend a lot of people check this series out if you haven't. Definitely a throwback to the old school platform games.
His basic attack is a photon laser gun that fires high-speed projectiles directly at his targets. Copen marks his targets by dashing into them. He can then hit all his shots with perfect accuracy from anywhere on the screen. By consuming bullets, Copen can perform a high-speed aerial bullet dash. Lola, a combat support robot created by Copen. She can replicate enemy Septimas and turn them into EX weapons that Copen can use at will. Rack up over 1,000 kudos points, and Lola will transform into her humanoid idol mode. Whenever Copen's HP reaches 0, Lola can activate her Anthem ability. She will transform into her Awakened mode and restore him back to life. Another yet unseen awakening may also exist. Blade, an adept with an electric Septima who is affiliated with Sumeragi. He is a ruthless warrior who exterminates Minos at Sumeragi's beck and call. Get ready to face off against Sumeragi's elite soldiers, the Falcons, and their powerful Septimas. The mystery of the butterfly effect is waiting to be unraveled.
I picked up the Silent Scope Light Rifle. It came with the 3 Silent Scope games. And I actually tried this a long time ago, and it didn't work because of the TV I was using. But now, seeing it again, I said I had to pick it up. I'll talk about this game more on Jason's channel. Here's Heaven Dust Collection, which includes Heaven Dust and the sequel, Heaven Dust Part 2. Now, I haven't really got to the sequel yet because obviously I'm still playing through the first game, but this is an isometric survival horror game, and it will really remind you of the first Resident Evil game. It has that feel to it. You're trying to look around every corner to see what's waiting for you. There's traps, there's puzzles. It's all kind of awesomeness, and I'm really having a good time with this one. Now, a little bit about the story. Scientists have found a virus in people's blood that will lead to immortality, and they call it Heaven's Dust. And I don't know why immortality is like I don't know. But anyways, they find out that it's not all what it seems, and that's where the game comes in, because people that get the sample pretty much are turning into zombies and everything like that. And you pretty much wake up in this laboratory, or this mansion laboratory. You're trying to figure out what's going on, and it's very interesting. And it plays just like a survival horror game. You have to be like very protective of your ammunition, and just don't overall fight every enemy. It's just what a true survival horror game is. here's Crisis Wing for the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch. So this was a surprise when I got home from Portland. This was waiting for me at my door. So I played this game before, and I actually got my platinum on it. You know, I put in the work, and that platinum popped up for me. So if you like vertical shoot 'em up games, I would say you would definitely like this one. It has a lot of good music too, especially when you play the time attack mode. That tune in time attack mode is freaking fantastic. Gotta make sure you play time attack mode when you play this game. Now, when I played this game a few months back, you know, I would say I was fairly good at it, and I thought, you know, I still had the skills that I had a few months ago. But when I played it again, I got my ass handed to me. This game is tough. It's a lot of fun, but man, you really have to keep your eyes on the screen at all times, especially if you want to score multiple points with the multiplier item that you get when you take out rows of enemies. Now, if you want a copy of this game, it's exclusively available at Video Games New York Soft. I've talked about them in my videos before. They're getting a lot of exclusive games, so definitely check them out. I got to put in some more work in this game to get better at it because I was really disappointed with me. I couldn't even beat the first level this time playing it around, so you're seeing pretty much most of the first level here. But before, you know, I got far in this game. I didn't beat it, but I got pretty far. But not getting past the first level really hurt my ego, so gotta get back to work. Resident Evil 4 Remake, the game that no one asked for, but we got anyways. I played this up to a portion because I kind of just got this game at last minute, but I got past the part in the village with the chainsaw, and I didn't get killed. I played pretty well. I'm happy with my performance. The only part I got killed on is like a part where you're on a bridge, and the bridge can like be destroyed pretty much, and I fell to my death. But anyways, the game is really smooth, especially on the PS4 Pro. I was actually really happy with how it turned out. I was thinking that they were just going to focus on the next generation more so than the previous generation, but no, the PS4 Pro version of this game actually plays very well. I think one of the things that really impressed me though were the villagers. You know, I like how you could stealth kill a lot of them. You know, you sneak up behind them. But man, they are ruthless in this one. You know, you can move around better in this one, but so can they. I got past them, but it was just really annoying. This was actually like my third time playing through the village because I actually played the demo, and things pretty much felt the same. But I think getting caught early, where a bunch of villagers were still around, messed me up. You know, so but still had a lot of fun playing the game. I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are looking forward to playing this game. So let me know in the comments what you think about it.